Hey there. So, at church this last Sunday, we talked about the story of Jacob wrestling with God through the night. It's one of those stories that stays with you, and especially in weeks like this where the world feels heavy and uncertain. Midway through the week, maybe you're feeling it too, the weariness, frustration, and sense that you are doing your best to hold it all together. This week's devotional is about that, about what it means to keep wrestling, not giving up, not checking out, but staying engaged with God even when life feels overwhelming. So let's take a few minutes to lean into that story and see what it might have to say to us right now. So this last Sunday's story is a story in scripture that I cannot shake. It's been with me all week. It's about a man named Jacob who is alone by a river in the dark, and he's out of options. He's made a mess of things in his life. He's deceived, manipulated. He's actually spent most of his life trying to stay one step ahead of the truth. But now his past is catching up. His brother is coming for him with 400 men strong, and Jacob has nowhere left to run. So he sends his family and everything that he owns across the river. And in the silence that follows, he's left with nothing but himself and God. And that's when the wrestling begins. All night long, Jacob grapples with this mysterious stranger that's human and divine all at once. And they struggle, they wrestle until dawn, neither of them giving up. At one point, Jacob is wounded, his hip dislocated, but he refuses to let go. Through the pain, exhaustion, and fear, he still clings, he still holds on, and he says, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. And there, in the struggle, everything changes. The stranger says, your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel. For you have wrestled with God and with people and have prevailed. Jacob walks away limping, yes, but also changed, also new. In a way, he's not the trickster anymore, not the liar, not the runaway. He's becoming someone God can build a future through. This story is not just about one man, it's about a whole group of people learning to live when life feels out of control. Generations later, when Israel was crushed by empires, when kings rose and fell, they told this story again because they needed to remember that faith is not about who's got the power. It's about persistence. It's about staying in the struggle. And I think that's exactly what we need to hear right now. Because if you look around, it feels like the world is unraveling. Power and money seem to ruin everything. Compassion is almost treated like a weakness, and people are hurting, divided, and afraid. And most days it feels like the ground keeps shifting under our feet. It is easy to feel small, helpless, and tired. But Scripture does not tell us to give up or to tune out. It invites us to do what Jacob did: wrestle. Wrestle with the questions, wrestle with the injustice, wrestle with God. And to cry out and say and ask, why is this happening? Where are you? God, you need to do something. That is not doubt. That is faith refusing to die. That is a prayer that has teeth. And in that wrestling, something starts to happen. God begins to change us. Because real prayer does not just move heaven, it moves the person praying. Jacob came out of that night different. He came out humbled, grounded, and ready for God's leadership in his life. The same can be true for us. When we wrestle honestly, when we stay in the struggle, God can shape us into the people that can carry hope into a very weary world. So maybe this is the moment for a dangerous kind of prayer, one that does not just ask God to fix everything out there, but says, God, use me. God, change me. God, make me a part of the answer to the very prayers that I am praying. Because Jacob's story did not end with defeat, it ended with the dawn. And maybe ours can too. So even in the chaos, even in the dark, know that God still meets you there and never lets you go.